It may be even better the day after, folks. We're still smiling. There's a lot. That Mahomes effort was epic, and nothing can take that away from what they have to do next. But we have to live in the moment and enjoy that, right? That's what we're going to do tonight. I know you guys have a ton of questions. This is your show. This is the Q&A for you guys. We're going to get into all of your topics. Got a couple new things to show you as well. Welcome to RGR Football. How we doing, Dan?
I'm still I have been on this moon for the entire last 24 hours, and I just think about certain aspects of the game, and this is the smile that you get. This is a genuine smile. This isn't something I put on for YouTube, guys. This is legitimate elation from thinking about that football game. It was just incredible.
Yeah, it's on reflection, it's even better. I haven't had time to watch the game again. I've seen bits and pieces, but just breaking down everything, it is beyond what we could have asked for. And honestly, it's just an extension of what we've seen from him in the past. Mm-hmm. It's just that I think we've been lulled to sleep this particular year based on the way that they started the season.
You're not wrong. Mahomes had to relearn how to play football. He had to play a completely different style than he's ever had to in his entire life. His entire life, he has never been forced to play that way. And then, not only does he play that way, but he executes at the highest level in the NFL at doing that. He had 0 pass attempts over 20 yards. He had 8 that were in between 10 and 20 yards, and he completed every single one of them. He was 8 for 8 in between 10 and 20 yards. What he did in that game cannot be overstated how incredible that transformation from a guy who just wants to chuck the ball down the field whenever he can to a guy who says, I'm going to be patient. I know this defense is going to take it away, and I'm just going to dink and dunk my way down the field, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Right? It's incredible, and I'm trying to find the stat because I retweeted it last night and got a bunch of Patriots fans angry at me. That's the way that it rolls. Most career postseason games with a passer rating of 120 or higher.
Yep.
There's 3 guys that have done it 5 times. Patrick, 1 Tom Brady, and the best quarterback that ever played, Joe Montana. And so that's what I tweeted. Hey, look, the 2 greatest QBs of all time did this, and Tom Brady. Because that's where Patrick is at this point. I can't say enough about it. We're spoiled. Let's be honest, folks. We are spoiled. 378 yards, 75% completion percentage, and 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. And we're just hey, they won the game. They made it to the next round. It's we're not talking enough about him himself taking it to that next level.
Incredible. Just incredible.
I feel remiss that I didn't talk about it more last night, folks. And I was so excited.
We should have talked about his transformation. He transformed. Yeah. This is not the quarterback that he was last year, the years before. It's a different guy, and it's lethal. It's lethal.
And here's the thing. It's not permanent. So if and when you see teams go back to single high and he's you're gonna single cover Tyreek. Okay. It's all still there in the playbook. There's no limitation now. It's a maturation of a guy that was already an all-star. It's hard to fathom, to tell you the truth.
Get some chills, man.
I know it. Folks, I thank you for all the questions. They're coming in. If you're new, sub, hit the bell. We do this all the time. As you can see up here, Mondays and Thursdays are our live stream nights. Tonight is the Q&A, all your questions. Now that we got a couple of minutes out of the way about what we've been thinking today. That always helps. And I see the super chats. Those are very helpful. They always support the channel. And we say thank you very much. It is the easiest way. Another way to support us is by checking out the store. And I got it up for you. It's a little bit late. I have several designs in the makes. 2 of them are up for review for, copyright and things like that. So it's going to take a little bit of time, but I got this one done for you. And so very straightforward, and it credits Andy Reid. I do want to say that he made this quote, and I know it's been quoted before. It's not a new one. He heard it somewhere and he repeated it, but still, that's what the essence of that game is. And I'm still up in the air. Is this going to become the Reaper game? Is this going to become the 13 game? I have a couple of designs coming for you, but you get this on the front. You get this, my favorite version of the Trooper, the black and yellow with the arrowhead nose. Like, that's my favorite one. And yes, ladies, I got it done for you. It is all available for ladies tanks, even, as well as regular tees. So
cool.
Everything for everyone. Check it out. I hope you'll enjoy it. We'll have more for you when I can get those approved. It's just going to take a little bit of time on that, but that always helps the channel as well. Some cool stuff coming there. I actually enjoy doing that. I stayed up way too late. I was a little hyped up last night. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I didn't sleep. Like, I was pretty much awake, and I was sitting there. I'm just like, yeah, this is pointless. There's no point in trying to sleep. Way too hyped.
I was like, oh, I could watch film with some college guys, but no, I'm gonna start working on shirts and stuff. So, you know, it's worth it because that doesn't happen every week. And there's fan bases that never get to experience that. So we have to enjoy that. And FLDB, I do believe there is a red hoodie in there for you, my friend. Here it is. And I'll do all the hoodies all the time from now on. It seems like I don't do enough of those for everyone. So I will make sure that we get that done for you, bud. So yeah, that's available in the same shirt as well. We're going to dig in here and start getting into the questions. So folks, if you're new, put some question marks at the beginning of your question. If you're not a super chat, the super chats actually jump out to me really easily in the chat, but the others don't. So put a couple question marks at the beginning and I'll make sure to get those. You don't have to super chat to get your question answered tonight. We're going to go through them all as long as I can answer fast enough. Yeah. Dan doesn't have to take over.
We'll try.
Why weren't the pundits up in arms and crying about the 2018 Patriots game when the Chiefs lost? Because it was the Chiefs and because they've always been an underdog and nobody cared.
Yeah.
When Kay Adams was defending them today, she's the one bringing up, didn't they lose this way a couple of years ago? You know something's wrong.
Yeah, like that's the whole thing. Like we're the only ones that seem to remember that the Chiefs lost to the Patriots in the exact same way in 2018. And I've seen nothing but Buffalo people just talking about how they should have had an opportunity. You go into the game knowing the rules, okay? Everyone knows the rules. And the Chiefs, the Buffalo voted against it. The Chiefs tried to change the rule.
They still have the proposal on the table, and the Bills are one of the teams that said no and continue to say no.
So yeah, miss me with that, guys. Buffalo, it's your own fault, okay? Kansas City tried to help y'all out in that situation.
I'm telling you what, man. It is what it is.
Before we get going, I just want to shout out Travis Anderson for the super sticker. Appreciate you guys, your support, man.
Thank you, Travis. I didn't see that beforehand. When I get into the chat, sometimes the number of comments just kind of, it makes me run. Stevie is in the house. I think Gooch is here. I know Aaron's here. Welcome all the RGR crew. You guys can see and hear more from them on Fridays, Saturdays. That's when you get that. Sean, your video is up in members. They should be able to see that now. And folks, check out Sean's channel as well if you haven't seen him. He does our pregame video, but he has his own channel with his own stuff that you guys need to take in. It's a lot more flavor than I can provide from way out here in the Rocky Mountains. So it goes a long way. 2KJ, I'm glad you're still flying high. Thank you for the support and the super chat. I mean, there's just not enough things to say about that game, about the back and forth. And that should include the Buffalo Bills.
Exactly, it should.
Without Josh, that game's nowhere close. I don't care if you put Tom Brady. I don't care. No. Aaron Rodgers could push it a little bit, but without Josh Allen, that game doesn't happen.
No, they had 4 fourth downs converted because of Josh Allen. Honestly, the Chiefs defense did a pretty decent job of forcing them into situations to be uncomfortable and have to make those plays. Like they scored 36 points, but the defense almost made them have to go that extra mile. And I think that's really an underrated part of what happened. Yeah, they converted 4 fourth downs, but they had to just to make it close.
Yeah. And I'll tell you this, I don't watch Good Morning Football because I work for a living, so I'm not able to watch television in the day. But some folks pointed these segments out to me, the one about Kay and another one about the argument that, hey, it was whoever had the ball last, and it's the overtime rule that made the Bills lose. No, it's not, because the Bills defense forced only 2 punts. The Chiefs defense forced 4.
Yeah.
So there is no guarantee that they get to the overtime and all of a sudden the Bills get to score automatically because they get ball first too. So
and like this whole stuff, this is a non-factor. It's a non-issue. If the Buffalo Bills squib the kick, if they squib it and force Kansas City to take 3 to 4 seconds off the clock, and if they actually instead of rushing 4, rush 2 guys, drop everyone into coverage. Why do you have to? You don't have to rush 4. So as much as we talk about, the Bills should have had, which I think we all agree, overtime rules, in a sense, they're dumb. You just shouldn't. One touchdown shouldn't end the game, and especially in the postseason. Regular season rules, I guess people don't bat an eye at that stuff. But the Buffalo Bills defense was out there. They were playing. It's not like this was the Chiefs offense against air. They had an opportunity to force a field goal. They didn't do it.
I mean,
execution. That's all it is.
Yeah. It comes down to it. You have to win the game.
Yeah.
Don't give me that shoulda, coulda, woulda. You got to go do it. I was at the game last night, and there's nothing like Arrowhead Stadium. So great to see our team overcome adversity throughout the year and get to this point. Thank you, Patrick. I'm glad you had a good time. I'm sure everybody did. If you came out of there having a bad time, something happened wrong in the stands is all I can say. So, but you're right. And it has been adversity. That's been, I think, the hallmark of this team to get to this point.
100%.
Eternal. Last year's Mahomes was the face of the national media. This year, it's literally everyone else. What gives? It's because they want a new story.
They're tired. Tired, man.
I think they're trying to avoid the Tom Brady-esque overload of him always being the face of the league. And that's okay with me. That's fine. I'd rather be the underdog, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, me too.
I find it easier to win that way. Row the boat. Hope you're doing well. If Fenton plays this week, will his presence slow the Bengals down enough to get the win? I think Fenton's key to getting this W.
Yeah. I think it's Matthew more than Fenton, but
yeah, I was going to say, but the big difference is they have to rotate and they have to put safeties over the top of Chase. You just can't let it happen anymore. And if that means that you're lighter in the box and Mixon runs on you, okay, we'll live with that. And I think at its core, I think that's what the defense is built to do, is to live with the running game being successful more so than giving up these big plays. I'm just concerned until we know about Matthew in particular.
Yeah, I would much rather face that run offense than have Burrow shred him through the air. Like, if it's Joe Mixon running for 150 yards, I still think that's a way better outcome than letting Jamar Chase go for 200, even for 100 plus. I think that they got to find a way to limit him and keep that offensive line of the Bengals being the reason they succeed or they lose. If the Bengals offensive line plays better than they have ever, okay, but that's probably not going to happen.
It's tough to see that. Broseph, thank you very much for the support. Appreciate you. Biggest standout on both offense and defense. Great content, guys. Keep it up. Who are yours?
So, I mean, the obvious is Patrick Mahomes, but I think the non-obvious was Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He made impact plays with the limited touches that he got, and you saw in a 2-play sequence everything that the Chiefs have needed to do with him. Use the inside plays. He was able to force Tremaine Edmonds to come in. He sucked him inside that A gap for that counter to the outside, bounced it outside for a 20-yard run, and then they let him get a catch on the right-hand side of the field with a sail concept, with using Tyreek Hill as more of a, you have to make that flat defender suck a little bit towards Hill to get Clyde open in the flat, and he creates a much more manageable third down by making 2 guys miss, something they haven't done in his career, honestly. So he was more impactful than a lot of people would have given him credit for. And then on defense, I think Frank Clark was more impactful than people want to give credit. Dude had 6 pressures in that game. He had 6 pressures, which is the most he's had in this postseason and quite a few postseasons. I know he didn't get home, but he's creating those pressures. So those are my 2 guys.
Yeah, I was going to name Frank as well. He and Willie Gay led with the most number of stops as well. Yeah. So setting that edge, controlling the rush game of Josh Allen, that was key. Thank you, Broseph. Appreciate the support. Michael, welcome back. Hope you're doing well. Looks like teams are game planning to get and keep the last possession. Yes, Bengals did it. Bills could have. Does Andy have to recognize that and do the same? He kind of should keep it in the back of his mind, But Andy is very much about, we're going to run our offense. We're going to exploit what's there. There was a thought too, like, they got down the field rather quickly, even in the overtime. And it's like, the overtime is one thing because of the rules. In the regular season, like, you want to take your time a little bit more, right? I don't think, quite frankly, that the Bengals are as much of a one-play threat, especially if you take away Chase.
Yeah, that's the thing, though. You have to take away Chase. If you do that, then yes, they have to run the ball down. They have to get the ball down the field. And the thing about those fourth downs is that you want teams having to make fourth downs to beat you. Okay. And the Chiefs forced the Bills to have to make those fourth downs. Obviously, they got them, but I'm going to take my chances with those. Like, teams are going to go for it on fourth down. We saw it in the last game they played against the Chargers. They went for it on fourth down a ton, and they didn't get them. They didn't get them. So I'm okay living with that. And that has to be, I think that this offense can carry it without having to do that all the time. I do think we've seen Andy go for it more than he used to because he understands the concept of these teams are always going to go for it. I think we need to give our offense more of a chance to also put more points on the board.
Yeah. Lot of questions coming in. I'm trying to filter so that we aren't doubling everything up, but you guys, we're going to just keep cutting through them here. AP, hope you're doing good. Is Tyron back next week? I hope so. Do you see how much influence he had across the back as the boss? After he left, they got smoked. It was difficult. Even Juan was making mistakes that he doesn't normally make. I thought the safety play was what they were looking to attack. Obviously, with Armani in there, I thought Armani actually played pretty well. I didn't see how he graded out, to tell you the truth. It wasn't stellar, evidently.
I think it's because he was in the area on some of those deeper throws, and specifically, I think the second touchdown or the last touchdown to Gabe Davis, I think he was in the vicinity. So I think they just kind of mark him down for that, which you don't know their responsibilities. So I don't really have much say about that. But I think Watts did a good job of what you could have expected of a guy coming off the bench who barely plays. So.
And this week, without Tyron in practice, we'll see if he practices. They should be off tomorrow. We'll see what happens on Wednesday. If he's not able to go, then Armani should be getting a lot of reps. So that will prepare him better for this next game. And quite frankly, they need to play him deep anyway.
Yeah.
They need to stay a lot of the day in too high, because that's how they can take away Chase. And again, let everybody else beat you. That said, I agree with you that you saw a drop off, not just because of what he is as a field boss, but he's the leader of the team, and he's probably the best actual player on the field as well for the Chiefs defense. You can argue Chris Jones. It depends on the game, quite frankly, but it was all around like the worst kind of loss that they could have had. We'll see what happens, and we should see, hopefully know a little bit more tomorrow, AP.
Yeah.
And Jace Geach, I think that's how you say it.
Yeah. I would say that's probably close.
Sorry to see the Honey Badger go down. What do you think about Watt's play? Okay, good timing. I had that one stacked up. We covered it. Thanks, buddy.
Appreciate
Kyle,
you.
do you think we could get Marcus Williams and Jabril Peppers in free agents at the same price as re-signing Tyron? I doubt that. I think they're both in it. Jabril's on a third contract, right? Williams is on contract too?
This is his second contract, I think, because he was traded from Cleveland to New York.
Oh, so he's still on the rookie. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Then, I mean, they're both going to be looking for money, but it might not be as high. So you could certainly explore that.
Yeah, Jabril's coming off of his injury. For me, I'm bringing in Jabril Peppers to replace Dirty Dan. Like, that's what I'm doing. One for one. That's because I think he can do everything that he could ever do, and he can do it better. He's more athletic. He can actually commit those things you're looking for him to do because of the play style he has and the physicality and the speed that he has. So I would be a 1-for-1 boom. And I think that would really unlock this safety duo, especially if you can bring Matthew back.
Yeah, I mean, he's by no means a perfect player or anything like that, but he has way more recoverability. And I think that's important at that position in this defense. How should we take care of Chase? Should we double team him, or what do you say? You can't do the same thing all day because they will work around that and it exposes somebody else. But yes, I think they need to play some cover 6 in particular, so they don't know who's actually shading over and has a full half of the field to themselves. And I do think that they need to get in some too high shells and actually just take him away over the top and give him the Tyreek Hill treatment is what I would do. Make everyone else beat you.
I need to see them play a little more physical with him too. Because as much as
Yeah.
he's a physical player, if you can jam him, then you can take away some of the timing that Burrow requires. Okay, there's a reason he throws these balls and he can get them where he's looking at, because it's all based on timing. If you can disrupt that, and with this officiating crew that doesn't call penalties on Sunday, you should be able to get away with a good amount of that.
Yeah, I think physicality is their friend all the way around. Jaden, I'm sorry if I missed some super chats last night. Apologies. We were flying, man. So let's get yours done now. Not my first question is, was that the greatest Chiefs game of all time?
I think the Super Bowl is still their greatest of all time, because the win, the comeback win, the way they came back and set the doors on fire at the end there. But this is it's right behind it. It's just right there.
I mean, and unfortunately, you can't even say the Mahomes era because of the Super Bowl and because of that contest with the Rams a couple of years ago. I think those are your top three. I wouldn't really argue with anybody in any order for those three, to tell you the truth.
If you want to say this is your favorite and it's the best that you've ever seen, yeah, I mean, and since it was in the postseason, it gives that little extra as well. So
true. Albono, should Tyreek return more punts? I actually like it the way that it is, that you have guys that take the load off him most of the time, but when you really need it, you can let him go do that. So
I just love that they put him back there, and it's almost
and you kicked it to him twice.
Yeah, the Bengals were. I mean, the Bills were like, we're gonna do this, and we're gonna let you return this. Everyone seemed to forget that Tyreek Hill was legitimately the best punt returner in the NFL his rookie season. The best. He housed multiple punt returns, and yet we're gonna kick to this guy 2 times in a row.
Yeah. I got nothing. I mean, Dave Tobe, I wish we had a camera on him when they were doing that. And he's like, wait, they're actually giving him another chance. Oh, FLW, yep. I got you before. The hoodies are there. And depending, you guys let me know which style of hoodie you use. I'll try to put them up on all the different flavors. They have like 4 available, so we'll just see. There's even a zip one. Y'all let me know which one is like the best quality, and then I'll just do that going forward. Good Cole, idea. Thank you. What do you guys think when the fan rushed the field, the 2-minute warning? It's like kudos to stuff on Diggs. I mean, I don't know. You got to be seriously drunk to think that that's a good idea.
It's so dumb. It's so dumb. I mean,
what do you get out of it? Other than a night in jail and a couple of bruises.
People see you on TV. That's what it is. It's trying to get on TV.
Okay. Just be a streaker. At least you get treated a little softer. I don't know. JC, what do we want? Who do we want to see in the Super Bowl?
So I'm gonna go ahead and get out in front of this one because I'm focused on the AFC Championship game.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna devote all of my answers and stuff to this week because I'm trying to sync my brains up to the Chiefs, because I know that Patrick Mahomes, the very first thing he came out of his press conference, he said, and I'm looking forward to get back in the film room and focusing on Cincinnati. That tells me he's already locked in, and I want to be just as locked in on this week or week to week. So I appreciate your question, Jay, but I'm going to politely avoid answering it and not look ahead to a week that may not be there.
That's fair. And I got to tell you, I don't think that it matters. I don't think that there's any one thing that's more concerning than the other. I know that they have the quality control coaches start pulling film on both teams just in case. But I think the bigger contest right now with the losses that we saw the Hall of Fame quarterbacks last weekend, I think the biggest concern is the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yep.
Oh. Quinn, thank you. Nice to have a member question. Did Snead have a good game? We finally got a great nickname for Mahomes, the Grim Reaper. You didn't like Showtime, huh? I kind of dug that one.
I like Showtime Mahomes. I think that's always going to be his nickname, and this one is just kind of like that playoff Patrick,
right?
Ooh, that's what Patrick. This is the Patrick that could, how Bobby Strope on Twitter a couple of weeks ago said that wasn't Patrick. I thought that was Levon. That's what this is. What you see in the postseason is a different player. So I can ride with that being his postseason moniker, but I still think postseason or playoff Pat is probably even a little bit better than that. But it's good, man.
Then he starts looking for his dad, though.
Yeah,
that's the only problem. I don't want to piss off his mom. I don't need that kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
I sure liked one of my tweets today.
Oh yeah, okay. Well, good for you. I obviously don't tweet enough stuff. But hey.
To answer the Snead question, I think Snead had an up and down game. He was decent underneath, and intermediate, but deeper routes is where he's still adjusting to the NFL game. I think it's pretty obvious.
Well, and I'll tell you too, that collision, I won't blame him, but I think he had a better chance of avoiding it. And that's a touchdown. So yeah. I mean, positionally, he was in shape. Not quite his best execution at the end of the plays. Thanks,
Agreed.
Quinn. Oh man, we got a lot of questions. We are
falling
behind,
we gotta
folks.
keep going.
Trent, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate the support. We know how competitive Mahomes is. How much of that matchup with Allen do you think factored into Mahomes' run performance? I think it was opportunistic. They didn't spy him, and he had an opportunity. I think he's not afraid of the matchup, though.
No, he's definitely not. And it was all matchup based. He saw man coverage. As soon as he sees guys turn away, he's like, I'm going to take it because it's there. And he's understanding that now.
And that said, Josh is a better runner. But
not even
Patrick
really close,
is no slouch. You know, if you can get the yards that you need to get another set of downs, go for it. Oregon, thank you. I was up all night watching the Crow Eaters. Didn't sit down for the last 5 minutes of the game. Healed up a lot of old scar tissue from the past misery. I hear you, and I'm glad that you're feeling better. Take that for all that it's worth. Seth, okay. Big fan of Kay Adams. Glad you like that.
Okay.
Rock and roll.
You,
Bill,
man.
thank you for the support. Are the Reaper t-shirts available in 2X? Yes.
LT.
The sweatshirts 2X LT. Oh, LT. The
long and tall.
No, there is no tall option at Teespring for these purchases. I am sorry to say. And my mouse is causing me all kinds of grief. I will look into finding a product that I can try to get for you, though, Bill, and I will let you know when I find it. Thank you. Have you heard Colin Saunders was off of IR, and what's your take on that? Yes, they look to be activating him. Happy?
So happy. He's gonna, I think, fresh legs. One, he's gonna provide some pass rush juice up the middle too, and we've seen he's improved as a run defender, so he shouldn't be a liability when he gets in there.
And we told you last night, if Jaron Reed had gone out and not come back in, that ball game's over.
Yeah,
they needed him. So, like having another capable player. Now, granted, he's been out a long time. I don't know what his wind's like or if he's in shape at all.
Yeah.
But just having an option there is a good thing. Gary, welcome back. Letting be a part of Rogue Nation. Really enjoy it very much. I'm glad you're here, Gary.
Appreciate you, Gary.
You're one of the first fans of this channel from way back when, and I'm glad you're still here. Cameron, how do you think we match up with the 49ers and the Rammers? I will say this. There are good players on both. I'm less scared of the Niners because I think the majority of their big plays come or at least begin behind the line of scrimmage, especially with Debo. Kittle's another thing, but I'm not as scared of them outside. Cooper Kupp is going to draw L'Jarius Sneed all day long, and that is a pretty good matchup in terms of strength on strength. Cooper Kupp is experienced in a way that I think he has the edge there, and that is a concern for me.
I'll just go with you.
And you're just going to go with, okay, yep. We're going to stay away from that. I'm with you, Dan. I will take care of those. So is the coaching staff holding back their adjustments for the playoffs? In some ways, yeah. On the offensive side, I think so.
I mean, I think they did a great job of adjusting to what they saw, what they knew they were going to see on offense. And defensively, you don't draw up a game plan to lose Tyrann Mathieu. You don't. So that's something that you can try to adjust in game, but you need a week to prepare for that kind of thing. It's just, he's such an integral part of your defense that, you know, a 4-quarter game doesn't give you enough time to figure out what your best option is. You need time to map it out and see what the offense is going to do to attack that because they didn't know. So it's hard to blame Spags in that situation about adjusting because he didn't know what was going to work, who would be best where, and you just don't know.
Yeah. I will say this. We've been calling and people have been pointing out for half a season that you need to blitz the linebackers more.
Yeah.
He finally got there. Like, I feel like the defensive side is a little bit slower. I think the offensive side is a little bit more purposeful in holding their adjustments. Jared, I know I'm not the only one, but McKinnon gets me hyped. He just brings so much juice. He does. He's just got to use it. Again, he and Clyde, I think, lost themselves some yards by indecisiveness, trying to set things up a little jitterbuggery back there that I don't like.
I think that McKinnon actually was a pretty poor runner on Sunday. I think he missed quite a few holes. He was trying to do, when he doesn't have a hole to work with, he kind of tries too hard. And that's what we're seeing from Clyde early in the season. If it's not there, he tries too hard and it gets you a half second behind and allows defense to catch up to you. He's much better getting to the edge and much better in terms of accelerating forward and finishing that play. You saw that he just said, "You're going to stop at the first down marker. I'm going to run you over. I'm just going to run you over. I got no issues with it." And I like seeing that out of Jarek. I love it. And I think that the tandem between Clyde and Jarek is perfect. Period.
Yeah.
Those two running backs, 1 and 2, that's it. That should be it. There should be no more question, in my opinion, about the best duo for this team. And if Clyde's hurt, then it's Darrell and it's McKinnon. Like those two guys, the styles are perfectly set for each other.
Yeah, they mesh together. I like that. I still like Darrell on third down. I think you can trust him to protect better than either of the other two. But, and he will make plays in the pass game. So, Super Devil Juice, they did spy him a little bit. Willie was out there more reps than I thought he was, but they didn't dedicate the whole thing. And I think if they had, they probably would have given up more pass plays. So I think that's just a calculated decision they made. Chris, thank you for the question. I think we answered, what they should do for him. Yeah. Holly, thank you. Appreciate all the support as you always do. So
thank you, Holly.
I'm happy to get you a shirt that you like. I will continue that. And Holly, if you have anything specific you'd like to see, just let me know. Stevie, people tend to forget that the last time we played, our D gave up 38. This time only 36. Our offense scored 22 more points this game. You're absolutely right. It's all relative, and it all has to balance out. And thank you for the support, Stevie. You guys can hear Stevie on Fridays here on the channel. But that said, taking that just down a step after, especially, and I think this is the big thing, in getting 4 stops, 4 possessions where you made them punt, that was success. And especially given how hot they've been the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, I really think they played much better, especially because if you consider those 4 punts and then they forced 4 more fourth downs. Those are, in a lot of other games, those are 8 punts, okay? Or they're field goals. They're not trying to convert those, but this is the postseason and it's the Bills. Like, it's a different thing. And to do that for an offense that has clicked very well since the Buccaneers game earlier in the season, it's a win for me. I think that they, even without Matthew, they played much better than most people probably think when you watched that game.
Yeah. Would you take Lady D's question? I'm going to stack up some more because I'm way behind in the chat.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you, Lady D. Appreciate you very much. Do you think we run the ball against the Bengals? I think that they'll run the ball just like as much as they have, but the Bengals defense schematically and as much as their players can be attacked. Their linebackers are not good. I think that their corners and safeties are decent and 2 good players, but they don't have elite playmakers. They don't have elite safeties. They don't have elite corners. They can be attacked much like they were in the first game against the Bengals. The offense just kind of got caught up after that. They seemed a little lackadaisical, like they had already won. But I don't think that's going to happen in the postseason. So I think you're still going to see the Chiefs throw the ball at will, but they can find some success on the ground if they want to. This offensive line is meshing. I think they're finding ways to utilize their run power game, and they're doing a good job of it. So appreciate the support as always.
I'm almost halfway caught up now. See what Jay had to say.
Oh no.
I heard someone say the home team should get the ball in the first overtime. So going into the game, everyone knows beforehand. Thoughts? I don't think that fixes the problem. I think everybody should get a possession from their own 40, and whatever happens, happens. And you just keep getting it possession by possession until somebody wins it.
Find a way to manipulate what college does, because it's never going to be a perfect system. There's nothing you can do to make it perfect. There's no perfect solution. But I think what college does is the best form of it, giving them both a possession. Just like you said, move it back a little bit, not 25. I think that's ridiculous for the NFL. It's ridiculous. 40 to 50. I think each possession, boom, it should be done.
Yeah, I don't like the 25 and in thing.
No,
and
I
don't like that you. I think it will end up that you end up going for 2, but I don't think you should have to at some point.
It should not be a requirement.
I think there are ways to make it, and again, this is about the maturity and the repeatable execution of professional athletes. I think you can rely on that some when you design a new play overtime system. Great question though, Jay. Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Bill, thank you again. Chiefs defensive game plan went out the window as soon as Badger got hurt. How many of those blown coverage TDs happen with Tyron in the game? At least one of them. Somebody makes a mistake, but it's not 4.
Those touchdowns were all in the middle of the field. Like, they were all in the middle of the field. I think the one that happens is probably the one over Thornhill's head. I think that because that's where Davis beat Ward to the inside and up, and Thornhill was just a little bit too. I think that's the one that they give up. The rest of them probably don't happen. Maybe the one Mike Hughes, maybe, but I think the safeties are a little bit aligned better in that situation. But you never know.
Agreed. I mean, one took a bad angle on that. Yes, he had the two route coming at him, and it was a double. That wasn't 4 deep, was it? It was 2 on that side.
Yeah, I think
but
so.
That again goes back to the whole you have to get physical, because if Ward even just slightly reroutes that wide receiver, that's not a touchdown. So there are ways to get around that. And again, if they don't have Tyron, I think they'll be able to adjust the weekly game practice for Armani Watson and get some better play out of that as well. Thank you, Bill.
Agree.
How do we chase? Okay, we covered Chase. Thank you, Jim. Casey. Like the new emojis in there. Would you rather play the Rams or Niners? Like I said, I'm going Niners, and he's abstaining. Terrence, you were at the game too, right? I hope you had fun. Josh Allen's performance wasn't better than Mahomes. I agree with you. Bill's best player was Mike Hughes. Just consistently.
Man, you're not wrong. That's put pretty well. I think that the one way I want to look at this is that Josh Allen threw touchdown passes to wide open players every time. They were wide open. Okay.
True.
And if you watch the Chiefs offense, guys were there. In a lot of those throws, those touchdowns, they were there. They had opportunities to make the play. Chiefs just executed better. And I think that comes down to it. Mahomes played better than Allen in terms of a pure passing sense. And I don't think that's questionable, although PFF disagrees.
This is again, great stat collection. I don't need your interpretation of what they were supposed to do with the ball. So
yeah, right.
Jaden, thank you. What do you think the Chiefs fans need to appreciate the type of football they're watching? And I need to enjoy it more. Let's not forget that we were 2-14 8 years ago. So enjoy it. I agree with
great perspective.
And I've seen a lot of people really pleasantly surprised after the way the season began too.
Mm-hmm.
Bengals haven't seen Chiefs playoff gear, so looking forward to seeing the same thing looks on the faces as we saw on the Bills. I hope you're right. This is a significant matchup, and I will say this: the experience factor does come into play here.
Also, Joe Burrow says that these NFL stadiums don't get very loud as they do in the SEC. So I think he's going to have a nice rude awakening in Arrowhead on Sunday. I'm just saying.
Yeah. That sounds to me like wishful thinking on his part. Like he's trying to say it into existence, because I'm pretty sure they were pretty loud when they were there a couple weeks ago. It's going to be 20 decibels hotter now.
So loud. They're going to be. Yeah. They weren't in Casey. They were in Cincinnati.
Oh, that's
going to be a rude awakening, I think.
Oh yeah, welcome, Joe.
Yeah, welcome to Kansas City, Joe. I like Joe Burrow, but
him.
I mean,
yeah, good for him. You know what? Talk it up. Every team, every of the other 252 guys on that roster believe a little bit more because he said it.
That's exactly why I'm hoping that everyone sees it.
Yeah.
Give them more motivation.
Is it concerning that the opposing keeper you can throw it up on our small CBs? I don't think it was a matter of being small. I'm trying to think if anybody got out muscled at the point of the catch.
Not really.
Again,
no, they were wide open.
It was mostly open. Yeah. It was a lack of coverage. It was a lack of understanding that you're susceptible to the inside slant route.
It's all about the hips.
Oh.
These corners don't have good hips. Ward, who played a pretty good game. I'll take nothing away. He played a pretty good game. Ward, Hughes, on the outside, they don't have good hips. So if you're going to attack inside, and they don't have great deep speed either. They seem to lose their receivers behind them sometimes. I think that Ward carries them closely the best. But if they have to change direction, they're toast. They get burned.
That's the thing that I notice more than anything else is they get shook loose by changing direction. I think a lot of times Spags has Ward in particular play a trail technique, hoping for safety help. I just think you can't afford to do that anymore. You got to be more physical. He's good at it, Spags. Let him do it. Take the penalties. It doesn't matter. Adam, do you think Spags will change his scheme better this time? I hope so. That's what we've been talking about with the safeties over the top, et cetera. I have no way to tell you for certain, though, bud. I can only cross my fingers. The rest are often not discussed much on here, but Bill Vinovich will be the championship ref. Carl Sheffers for the NFC game. Did we dodge a bullet? I think so, given the way that they've called them in the past. And you're right. I do not discuss refs on here very much, maybe to Dan's chagrin. I don't know, because there's absolutely jack that I can do about it.
Yeah,
and it is about understanding who is reffing your game and adjusting accordingly. That's on the staff, from my point of view.
Exactly. That's why I think you can get away with a little bit more physicality in this game, because Vinovich's staff doesn't call many penalties. And if the game is called like it was on Sunday, which I think was perfect, I think they did a great job of understanding actually what was going on. And the teams played clean. There wasn't a whole lot of holds on either side. I mean, there's some tugging here and there, but I think it was a great called game. It shows you that if referees kind of stay out of the way, the game can be played and we can all enjoy it.
What an idea.
Really?
I like that. Ryan, Bolton and Gay were huge yesterday for Sunday night's game. You're absolutely right. Like, I think we shouted out Bolton last night.
Yes,
he played. This is more than I expected from him as a rookie.
Yeah,
that was a better performance than I could have hoped.
Yeah. Love it. I love seeing him being able to tackle in space. It's great. It's a huge asset for this defense.
And as long as we keep vacuum cleaners away from Willie Gay, we should be just fine this week. I'm just saying. What changed with Spags putting Watts at deep safety instead of Dan last night after the injury? Did the higher stakes play a factor? Andy stepping in. I honestly don't know, because as soon as I felt, and I praised Spags for putting Watts in where he belongs at the back, he switched it up. And he did go back to it. So I'll have to double check. I think Dan played more snaps at strong than at free. And I think that's the way it has to be.
It seemed that way.
There are some calls that might be specific in terms of role responsibility that maybe Watts hasn't had a chance to practice much or see much. And so it could be a play-to-play kind of thing, Josh. But thank you for the support as always, bud. Emmanuel, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. Jaden, thank you. Is this the greatest game in Casey history? Again, I know we answered it before. Sorry for the super chat double there, bud. It's one of the top three. Actually top four, because you got to count the first Super Bowl too. Any championship title is a great game.
Oh yeah, I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree.
Hey Jim, I agree with you 100% on Joe Montana's the best. Will always be the best. Thank you. Tell Mom takes it away. Chase, I think we should get him on the line and then double team him after that. I mean, that's the safest way. Now, there's a thing to be said about don't overcompensate about what bit you last time. But I'd rather do that than let him get loose again.
Yeah,
because
the only thing about that is that if you have Mike Hughes one-on-one against T. Higgins,
right,
that's not like you said, overcompensating can create that matchup, and that's not how you want that to happen.
Right, and hence my thing about, I think you got to play splits most of the night. You can get down into the one high robber if you come out of it. At least give Burrow the two high look and make him target the boundaries. I mean, that's what you're trying to do. And then what that does, especially that shift, if you can shift late, and Armani Watts has to practice this because he's not used to it doesn't have the game snaps. You have to shift late from the two high down into the robber single. And that's when you find if the quarterback is going to target the middle, because that's the other gap, when you have an opportunity to take the ball away, that could be big as well. But Jim, thank you. Let's see here. Who's next? Chad Johnson. Thank you very much, Chad. Appreciate all the support and all the stuff on Twitter too, bud. Thank you. Good to see you guys. Best game I've ever seen. That's saying something. How confident are you with Spags coming up with a good game plan this time, especially if Fenton and Matthew can't play? I think it comes down to the ability to be at full strength with Fenton and Matthew. Otherwise, it's going to be a problem.
It'll be a problem. It's all hands on deck. You got to have someone's got to step up. Like we had that Mike Hughes game where he was just incredible against the Raiders. Like, you have to have someone make that step. Otherwise, it's going to be what we just saw in a back and forth kind of game.
Yeah. I mean, at the end, it's going to come down to execution, whether those guys are back or not.
Yeah.
You just have a much better chance of executing well if they are. Thank you, Chad. Appreciate the support. Jaden, thank you again. You and Dan are the best Chiefs podcast out there. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Samantha, so much.
And my question, did Chiefs fans not appreciate this era of football and need to enjoy it more? I think there's something to be said to that, especially like the younger fans. No offense to you younger fans, but if you've grown up and the only quarterback you remember in Kansas City is Patrick Mahomes, you got it a little bit easy. I got to tell you, you know?
Yeah, I think everyone, not just Chiefs fans, need to appreciate what they're seeing, because too often you don't want them to be in the headlines. Like, I think that a lot of people take that for granted. Like, yeah, this is their 4th year in a row hosting an AFC championship game. Instead of being tired about that, think about what it takes to get to that spot 4 years in a row. The kind of mental fortitude, the kind of consistency, the excellence, that kind of thing needs to be appreciated more in general football, not just for Chiefs fans.
Yeah, I mean, it's never been done before.
No.
That's how significant it is. And for all you Tampa Bucks fans that want to come at me in the last 48 hours, great. You got one.
How's that
You got
couch?
one last year. They're 4 quarters away from going to 3 in a row. So come back to me when you get back to that, especially if your quarterback retires, by the way, because he's taking his tight end with him, about half the defensive line and both the running backs. So good luck. I've had my fill of Bucks fans today. Evidently, they wanted revenge for something. Stevie, thank you for pointing out 15 months for Jeremy. Thank you. One of the
awesome,
first.
Man. That's awesome.
We are rolling at this point, folks. You can become a member too. You get all the inside information, the extra videos. There are some members only gear that you can get as well. All you got to do is join up. And if you're at the rookie level or above, you get the big bonus where you can hang out with Stevie and Gooch and Aaron in the Discord, because they run that, they built that, along with FLDB. And all you got to do is send me an email. I put it up on the screen every show.
Uh-oh.
You'd think I'd click to it faster, but
maybe.
Someday I'll get that automated. Right now, just send me an email at this email address, rgrpodcast@gmail.com, and we'll get that taken care of.
We go fast.
I know. I'm trying. Holy cow. You guys are on fire tonight.
Sorry, guys. You guys' questions are so good that we want to answer.
Right. Here, I'm going to give you one as I stack more.
All right.
Where were we? Emmanuel. Okay.
All right. Appreciate you for another one. Thank you, Emmanuel. We spotted them 4 points. Yeah, they did spot them 4 points. And I think that we talked a little bit about that last night. I know Stevie was trying to get at me for extra points, and he's almost succeeding in irking me to the point of going off about it, but I'm not going to. I'll still concede that the field goal, and honestly, that 3rd and 1 call was far worse than the missed extra point. The whole nonsense with Blake Bell trying to pitch it to McKinnon for a loss of 3 yards on 3rd and 1, far worse than the missed extra point. So I will hold that, and that's all I'll say about that. But yeah, appreciate the support. Yes, they spotted them 4 points, and we're still able to find a way to win. That's always good.
Yeah. Let's not repeat that.
Nope, not again.
Chiefs Knicks fan, thank you. Good to see you last night. I was trying to say I hope we blow the Bengals out the way Mahomes has been playing and the defense gets enough stops. Yeah, I'm sorry. I must have misread you again, and I'm sorry to do another super chat, but appreciate you. I hope, and it feels like you said, Dan, from Patrick's post-game comments, that he wants to get right back in the film. Like, that threw them for a loop. They frustrated the offense more than I thought, because I thought it was mostly a defensive problem in that game. Clearly, the offense felt that they didn't perform very well either. So Jesse Bates had another nice game this weekend. Like, you got to watch out for him, but I have a feeling that a blowout is what they're looking for. I'm not going to say they're going to get one.
Yeah, the spread tells me that's probably not going to happen. They're already a 7-point favorite. That's probably not going to happen. The Bengals are going to come and they're going to throw everything they have at them, because I think that you're going to. Why not? You were supposed to be here. Yeah. You were supposed to be here, and this is a chance to go to the Super Bowl and beat the kings of the AFC right now. Like, they're going to give them everything. So this game, I'm not overlooking it. The Chiefs will not overlook it. They are going to prepare properly for the Bengals, because they're a legitimate threat.
Yeah, and I think they've proven that at this point. And if it wasn't enough of the slap in the face last time, what they've done since should reaffirm that. If the Bengals in the playoffs have not impressed me at all, not overlooking them, but they barely beat the Raiders, and Tannehill stunk it up. That's true. That brings it back to, if you don't turn the ball over, this team can beat anyone. Yes, you got to take away Jamar Chase. Not take away. You got to limit him.
Yeah.
I'm sure somebody, if I don't get there, will address it. There are other good players on that offense, But as a whole, if he doesn't go for 226 and 17,000 touchdowns, that last game's a win. If you just limit him a little bit.
Yep.
So that's what we're looking for. 15 months for Megan, too.
That's awesome.
Thank you, Stevie. Appreciate you pointing that out. I'm not getting those kind of messages in the chat, so I am glad to see that. Thank you, Stevie. And thank you, Megan. Agree with you 100% on Montana. Okay, got that one. Thank you, Jim. I must have double clutched here and done something wrong. I know you're shocked, Dan.
No, that's not nice.
Would you guys say Allen versus Mahomes is the new Brady versus Manning?
So, not yet. I think the Bills are great. I was listening to Robert Mays and Nate Tice today, and he brought up a very good point. This was their year. A lot of free agent signings they made, the defense playing as well as they did. They might lose their offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator in the same offseason, and you have a bunch of free agents to go to that are leaving. There is never a guarantee that you can get back to that level. Like, there was no guarantee that the Chiefs were going to do this. It's improbable what they're doing, what they've done. So as good as Josh Allen is, he's going to be there to get them in the area. But if their defense doesn't play as good as it has, it's going to be more difficult. And they're going to be faced with more adversity because teams are going to start doing what they did to Patrick to Josh Allen. And
Josh could be the exact same situation next season.
Yeah. So I'm going to hold off a year. But if they play again next year in the postseason, yes. But it'll be over and done. But it'll be a better version because these are better quarterbacks in terms of raw everything.
I just want to know if the NFC is going to get any decent quarterbacks because they're all in the AFC now. I'm just saying. Thank you, Scott. Ready Whip. Mahomes' body language was insane last night. Like, he really takes it to the next level in the playoffs. He absolutely does because there is no tomorrow. He knows that, and he's grown up that way. And I think that's an underrated thing that we forget about him is his upbringing showed him what it is to be a champion.
That's right.
And what it feels like to not be. Philip, thank you. Tyreek Hill doing everything for us, doing punt return and to be a receiver. What do you think about the special teams coach? Put him back there kind of a lot. Yeah, I mean, they felt they needed a spark. I thought it was a good decision. Again, I'm just shocked they kicked it to him twice.
The worst thing for me is that with that spark that they created, they got 3 points. That's been some of the issue with this offense. You get a turnover, you get a spark, they don't turn it into anything. They did a good job of creating that spark. The offense got to finish that.
I have no argument. Philip, thank you. I don't think that Allen gets it done with 13 seconds. Far less accomplishments than Mahomes. Not to disparage Allen, but those are the facts. I think he might have gotten close because if he rips one good run, they have a chance for a pass and a kick.
Yeah, they had timeouts too, and I think that the way the defense was playing, unless you're just gonna do exactly what I said, only rush two and drop everyone into throwing lanes and make him work a little bit harder, which I don't know if Spags would have done. I think he could have gotten very close.
Yeah, I mean, but again, that's why both teams should get a possession because if the flip were real, if the Chiefs lose that. Then we are sitting here today crying about the fact this happened to us 4 years ago and now it's happened again.
Exactly.
So I can understand the people that are just like, just change the rule. It's all right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Philip. Longmorn, thank you. Long-time member. Has anyone told Spags that it's okay to give deep cover to the DBs so the 49 can't do it? Somebody's told them. Somebody in the building has to. I tell them every week. So
we all do, man.
Somebody's listening. Ryan, did the loss of the Honey Badgers somehow increase the playing time for Neiman? Yes, it did, because Dan had to play more of a role. Watts had to play more of a role. And so when you went into the nickel packages, they put Neiman out there more.
Yep.
There is something to be said, though, too, is they like to do that kind of like platooning. They did it with the defensive front last night. They like to swap out linebackers wholesale for Dan and Neiman. Did I say that right? Yeah, yep. Dan and Neiman.
Yeah, I think you did. Dan.
So that could have been a portion of it too, but I agree with you. I do think that Neiman played. What did he play? 22 total snaps, a lot more than normal. So I agree. Playoff Pat is incomparable national treasure. Hi, how doing?
Yes, you did. Good job.
We all do, babe. It's not as fun.
You're welcome.
I'm glad you're having a good time. Playoff Pat is an incomparable national treasure. I don't think this is aimed at me, Daniel.
I don't think it
but
is
I'm
either.
just gonna say, but I'm gonna say I agree. Bye.
It's okay, Stevie. I know that you have a bone to pick with me for whatever reason. It's fine.
It's good-natured ribbing. This is fun. I just need to get you guys in a boxing match that we can televise. That's what we'll do. Brendan Lake, thank you. PFF has Mahomes graded 85 and Allen 92. How? I'm done with these playoff PFF grades. Their process seems subjective and not consistent. Again, I'm guessing that some of those Mahomes put 2 in the dirt, I think, that were kind of throwaways. I'm guessing they're grading those as actual misses, that kind of thing.
Yeah, what you have to understand about PFF is it's a -2 to a +2 point system. And Mahomes, since he didn't take any of those deep shots down the field, he probably didn't get any of those +2 points that Josh Allen did for those deep throws. So it's a very imperfect system. The way that they do it, if you have that grading scale, you can't get extra points for actually, going through your reads.
Something crazy.
Throwing somebody open. Maybe a sidearm throw underneath a guy who tipped a ball for an interception in the last game. And this time he goes underneath his arms. So, yeah, it's not a good way to evaluate quarterback play. In most ways, any play.
And again, they do a great job with the stats and the analytics piece of it. The subjective part about grading is where I think they go a little too far.
Yeah.
But at least it's a point of view. You can use that as a rough estimate sometimes. Sometimes it's totally out of whack. But hey, Steve, I'm happy to have you on. Let's go through it, bud. Spencer, Mahomes looks comfortable running again. Seems like the bigger factor has been discussed. You're right. Like, I didn't see any hesitation. I didn't see the heel, that kind of heel run that he uses.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, I didn't see that. So I feel like
good.
that as well. Yeah. Don, is Zach Taylor a good head coach? I forgot Cincinnati had a coach. Good point. Dan does not think so. I think he's had a couple of pieces where he's done some good things. But yeah, I think it's a large investment on the play caller and the talent on the field.
Joe Burrow has saved that man's job.
Yeah, I mean, Joe can call his own offense if he has to. That's what it comes down to. Miss Holly, thank you very much. Our biggest contributor, most consistent. Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Since Ren just mentioned not wanting to piss off Patrick's mom, very much so. Thought I would share that I ran across her and Patrick's little sister before the game. Nice. And his mom started talking to me like she knew me. Oh, that's awesome. And complimented my outfit. I hope you had an RGR shirt on when she complimented me.
That would have been nice.
Maybe next time, if not. But Holly, thank you as always
so
for the support. Very much appreciated. And we will try to do something for all the members. I just had an idea that my wife actually told me last night that we should try to get some of the lady members together next time we're in Kansas City. So, hey. Josh Mooney, thank you. Must be in Canada. Welcome to you. Ben Neiman, why? I just want to know. Also, Dan, time to update the photos behind you.
There is going to be some changes happening here in the next week.
Should be fun.
Just hold out a little bit longer. I know that it's been a long time, and I know I've had a lot of complaints about this nice blue curtain here that everyone seems to hate. But it's all we had in the house at the time. So it's going to change. Things are going to look very different in about a week. So just a little bit longer, guys. A little bit longer.
It's going to be okay. Knicks fan, thank you as always. Hardman and Pringle came up big when they were needed. You're absolutely right. I know Pringle had a couple of drops. He made some good plays as well. And I'm really encouraged by Hardman. You guys asked a lot of questions earlier in the season, and we told you, because of the contract, he's going to be here. Like, now you can see him contributing next season a lot clearer, I think.
We're going to see him grow. He had his best season this year. It was his best season in terms of target share, actual yardage, and things like that. The touchdowns will come. Yesterday was his first rushing touchdown ever. Like, they're going to start using him more, and you're finally seeing it pay off when they use him properly. Like, if you just try to take the fact that he was a second round pick out of your mind. Just take it out of your mind and let the way he's used speak for how the player he can be and will be in the NFL.
Cole, great question. Do you think Jaron Reed gets re-signed? I feel like he and Melvin Ingram have done more than enough to return. I agree with you. I will say this, that Jaron got a little Frank Clark-itis. He's really come on in the last 4 or 5 weeks. He was really quiet for a stretch before then. My only point to saying that, yes, I would still resign him. Yes, I still hope that they do. I hope that doesn't mean that recency bias will make some other team throw a lot of money at him, because that's the one thing that I think could make them lose out.
Yeah. Just hopefully you can keep him smaller deal. That's what you're looking for. You need to get him here, both of them in for a little bit, maybe 2 years and smaller contracts.
Yeah. And I was encouraged, by the way, by Melvin's comments last week about wanting to return and feeling it. So that is a plus. And I don't think I called him Melvin Gordon last night. So I don't
think you did either. I think you did a good job.
Yes. Staying with it. Josh, I don't think the LBs were the problem. We're giving up plays like our secondary. Agree. Like, they got run on a couple of times, but they blew things up just as much.
And they weren't attacking the linebackers. If we're being, they isolated Anthony Hitchens early in that game because he is a liability. And then they were like, Matthew's out of the game, so we're going to start throwing it deep on you.
Right?
Yeah.
Folks, you got 8 quarters of Anthony Hitchens left. It's going to be okay. He's going to make some contributions. He does make plays. He knows where to be. He just can't always get there. At least that's the way I interpret it.
That's what it makes me think.
Adam, great show. Welcome to Australia.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Man, it's got to be, I can't remember if it's early or late there. If
it's late there because the Australia Open's about to kick off too.
Oh, you know all this stuff. Okay, great.
Yeah.
It's like you're an Aussie. Awesome. I wish I had something like this for my rugby club. I like that. My point, I have watched a number of, I think they're in Sydney, the Rabbits, the one that Russell Crowe owns. A friend of mine is a big rugby fan. I've sat down and watched some of their games, so you'll have to school me up, Adam. I don't know enough about it. We play 25 to 35 games per year, depending on the games. Wow, that's awesome.
That's insane.
Well, cheers and welcome. I'm glad you're here.
Good luck. Good luck.
Yeah, right. Geek on Harley. I love the quote from last night on this page. Patrick Mahomes be like, 13 seconds, hold my beer. I haven't made that one yet. That'll be in the works. I'll get that one done too. I got to figure out a way to like do some graphic for him.
Yeah,
you can't use people's likeness. It's like against the law. They own their own image. And
almost.
Stuff, so. Yeah, you know. Theo, I feel like Patrick is Marino and Rodgers, with Brady's playoff intangibles, clutchness. I like that word, clutchness. I'm going to steal that, Theo. The GOAT when it's all said and done. I agree with you.
We'll see. But he's on that trajectory.
Yeah, he is on the path. The road is wide, and he's in the middle of it. Unreal is a very good word for it, Knicks fan. Like, so just a little personal update. My the ladies in my life got me an upgrade, so I got this year's Madden, right, with Mahomes and Brady on it. I didn't do it because my old Xbox broke and all this stuff. It's been a drama. But anyway, so now I have it. And so like speaking of an Unreal Engine, I think that's part of it. I'm gonna do a new simulation, I think, in the off season, because I have so much free time.
Yeah, right.
So that I can have my team of all Mike Burtons play my team of all Patrick Mahomes at every position, and we'll see what happens.
That should be fun.
See how unreal he is. So Guy, thank you for support. Mahomes is by far the best. He played his game against the number 1 defense, while my beloved Chiefs were the number 12 defending Allen. Yeah. I mean, and that's all to say. That's what you got to do. That's what the matchups are. People accuse me of taking away from Allen's performance, and I'm desperately trying not to, because I think he earned a lot of respect out of that game.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, we got Theo's. Spencer, are you guys optimistic about Hardman based on his play lately?
Yeah, I think both of us are steadily ascending. Yeah.
Not a rocket, but he's going up. Yeah, I'm with you. Darius, thank you. Safety play has me wondering what Barry would look like in this D. Would he play robber role, or would Spags take a different approach with him? He'd be in the Sorensen role. He'd be in the box a lot. That's where Eric was the most effective. He could then in fact, now that you mention it, I feel like Spags is like ignoring the fact that Dan Sorensen is not Eric Berry, because Eric Berry could do what he asked Dan to do a lot more effectively when he was healthy.
Like, they were on the same team, right? So that means that he's got to have something.
Right? Wonder Twins. I got nothing. History Dave, I've been a lurker here for a long time. Love the level of analysis team brings. Well, thank you,
Thank
Dave.
you so much.
And I'm glad that it shows across the history. So cheers. Welcome, and thank you for the support.
Very much. It's awesome.
Cole, do you think this is EB's year to finally get a head coaching gig? I do. I believe he was not on the short list that was announced today for Denver. That was like my leading one, but I still think that somebody somewhere wants him.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. I'm hoping, man. I am hoping, because I think that if he goes through one more off season, he's stuck. I think he's stuck.
Yeah.
And he'll go to college to be a head coach.
Oh, man. And I don't wish that on anyone.
I don't either. I don't.
Okay, guys, I'm going to have to lighten it up here. We're way over
sorry,
time.
guys.
We're going to keep it to the super chats from here on out so we can get them all done. Bill, can the Chiefs afford to take a corner with the first pick instead of an edge? What corners do you think have potential? I think they can, especially because I think the 3, maybe 4 that I think are worth the first round grade are going to be gone. So
I don't disagree. I think they might have to. And it's funny enough, I saw Daniel Jeremiah's first mock, or one of his mock drafts today, and Andrew Booth wasn't in the first round.
Ooh, yeah. I didn't get a chance to read the whole thing, but that was like, what the?
I was like, okay, if that situation happens, the Chiefs are taking him at 32. That's even with Jameson Williams on the board. Yeah. I think that they would do that.
You're going to get overrides.
Okay, so here's what I say. It would be a better idea to take Booth, get a wide receiver in the second round.
Agree. And Casey literally right after Bill's comment said Sauce Gardner. Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
If Sauce were to fall that far, I like him too. He's a little thin. I mean, Booth isn't exactly thick either.
No, but
they both remind me of Ward. Yeah, and they can both handle man. They can both actually exert pressure on routes and reroute. So I'm all for that. There are a number of them. I like Trent McDuffie too, you guys. That would necessitate playing a lot more zone. I don't think that's what Spags wants to do, but if you look across the league, Jimmy Lake coach DBs have a tendency to stick in the league. They just don't fit this scheme perfectly.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
It's weird. Big Dave, is the robber position the evolution of defense football or the masking of a lack of athletic DBs? It is, I feel, and more the evolution, because as much as linebackers have gotten more athletic, now you see tight ends that are really just big wideouts. So you don't have the underneath aspect as much, and you see slot receivers that burn it up. So I think it is just a speed on speed thing.
I think it's a little bit of both as it ties into this defense, because they didn't have them for so long, and they've kind of needed that, and it's helped them. Like 2019 when they won the Super Bowl, they don't win that Super Bowl without Kendall Fuller. They didn't have linebackers that could play coverage, and Fuller was their answer, and it worked. They don't win the Super Bowl without Kendall Fuller.
You're absolutely right, and a lot of people, and even myself, sometimes forget that. And I apologize, folks. I just apologize. Okay, got another super chat. We're gonna end this up. Is Sorensen playing too much, Marshall? Yes.
Always.
Just yes.
Yeah, the answer is always yes.
We can play more zone, Terry. Yes, that is possible. I don't think Spags will. Was DOD in the game? Why was he in the game? Because he has the athleticism to spy a little bit. That's when they were spying, at least from what I saw.
A little bit, yeah.
And that's why he wasn't on there very much. Roger, thank you for that. I'm glad that you're having a good time. Jaden, I'll get back to you after Tyler Thigpen. We got to wrap up with all the super chatters here before I have to go do the draft show tonight as well. Looking for the future, Josh Kano. What is his likely season? What is his potential ceiling? His potential is a starting level player to me.
I agree. He's got the requisite athleticism, the length, all about being coachable now. You have to be coachable to be able to reach your ceiling. If he isn't, he's just going to be what he is.
Yeah. And Charles, his likely ceiling to me is Tano Passanio.
Okay.
A backup rotational player. If you're a member and you want into the Discord, hit me at that email address, rgrpodcast@gmail.com. Yes, and Gary, thank you for reminding me, Rogue Nation, if you would hit the like, please. It helps us. There's 900 of us tonight on a Monday. That's great.
Takes 2 seconds, y'all. Takes 2 seconds. Just
Super simple and helps out all of Chiefs Kingdom, including the other podcasters and channels and stuff. Stevie, thank you. I never said that the missed extra point was the biggest bad play. I said that the end of the play, regulation, that missed extra point was the difference between a game tying and a game winning. Absolutely. Everything adds up. The problem is it's all situational, and I want to know what was causing it, because I heard some people that were there for warmups say that Bucker was having issues for some reason, but the wind wasn't up, and it was cold, but it wasn't like it was above freezing from what I understand on the field. So I was a little puzzled by that as well.
It was a little interesting for sure.
And again, I said this on Locked On Chiefs last night. I will still take Bucker over somebody that is super consistent, never misses inside 50, but can't go beyond it.
Yeah.
Because when you need them, you really need them. So
that's true.
But good point, Stevie. Yeah, you're right. All points matter. I know.
I disagree, and that's okay. We can have disagreements.
Fine.
I'll always say if you lose a game by a missed extra point, you have far more issues. That's true. If they would have lost that game from a missed extra point, more issues. The missed field goal, letting them score 36 points, fourth down conversions. There's always something else, in my opinion, it's going to be far more important than a missed extra point.
Yeah, and that's fair too. I think both points of view are fine. I feel like a referee here, so I'm going to stop that. Stevie, another one. If expectometer coaches would always go for 2, I think you're going to start seeing more of that. Yeah, the whole analytics thing. Go for it on 4th. You've seen the pluses and minuses, right? The next thing is let's just go for 2 all the damn time. Buckiger was less complimentary nickname if he bombs chances. Hi. Thanks, Scott.
Appreciate
Miss
it.
Holly with another one. Seems that Sorensen had some decent tackles last night, more than usual, or is it just me? Thank you again, Holly.
Appreciate you, Holly. I think he realized he couldn't afford to miss any tackles in that situation. He was like, if I got it in the tank, I gotta get it. I gotta do it. Like he had some good tackles. Still had some issues, but he realized he needed them.
He had 2 misses that really bothered me, I do have to say, but the rest of the time he was solid, Holly. So I definitely agree with what you're seeing there. Don, the difference between Mahomes and Rodgers, they can carry themselves as leaders. I think they both do. I think they're actually in pretty different ways, though. However,
yeah.
Chad, thank you for the support. DOD played 2 snaps. I thought he played 8. Did I read that wrong?
I don't know.
I gotta go check. No, it was 2.
Oh, 2
you're absolutely right, Chad.
Fun.
Did he not do well to get more time? I was surprised he was even see 2 of them. Would like to see him at least get used to blitz. I actually don't like him in the blitz because he can't interact with linemen and win. The only way he can do it is on delay, and if there's a gap. I've never seen him be successful against a guard. So, man, I could have swore he played 8 snaps or something around about that. Excuse me. But clearly it was a package, just like it was for Deshaun Watson a few years ago. He was there to do a task. He did it, and then they went away from it. So it is a cat and mouse game out there. But I agree with you. I would like to see Dorian playing in the Sorensen role, not doing the slot drops.
Yeah,
Let's just let our DBs be DBs. But thank you, Chad. Gold Towel, thank you. As long as delay lining up and getting into position was Matthew's absence is good. We are good to go versus Bengals if he's back. I agree with you.
I agree.
And that last touchdown was Sorensen moving 2 guys around and throwing everything off. So maybe he was correct and they were lined up incorrectly, but that last second adjustment screwed him.
Yep.
And that's just about not being on the field. Gooch, you're back. I'm glad. RGR and the Chiefs represented well here in Buffalo. I'm glad. You're going to have to fill me in on what's going on in Buffalo for you, buddy.
It's pretty cool, man.
Can't promise I didn't talk a ton of trash, especially when I got going. Ask Keys how petty I can be. That's great. Good for you. You know what? I have friends that are Buffalo fans, and they do pretty good when they give it. Let's see if they're good when they take it, too. Thank you, Gooch. Jerry, thank you. Mahomes getting kicked in the head. Any thoughts? It would have been a penalty if it was on Brady. Absolutely.
Yeah. What a little surprised they didn't get thrown, to be honest. But they weren't throwing the flag much.
The one thing I will say is that it was out of bounds, and I don't know if the ref took his eyes off it at the time or not because he had gone down. I think Stevie's very happy to see you.
Hi, Stevie.
We're going to have an all crew get together and that we can record. Maybe we'll do it for the members and let everybody else see it so we can just air some of our disagreements. I look forward to that. Jerry, thank you very much again. Bill, thank you. PFF also
Yeah.
factors in ADOT, which hurt Patrick's score because he faced too high. Yeah, and again, that's their way of putting a formula together. ADOT is a perfectly legitimate metric of what happened. It just shouldn't count against the quarterback, because if they're playing 2 and 3 high, especially if in cover 3, if you go and your ADOT is high, you're actually misplaying that defense.
It's context. It lacks context because they don't know what they're supposed to do. They just take too much. They don't take enough into account.
Gooch, hi Dan, Huddle Bros in the house.
Hi, Gooch.
I like it.
How's it going?
What building are we in? Okay, the Mod Father for President. I like that one too, Scott. Dang. Mod Father 2024. I think that's coming your way soon. Would you like it in blue or red, Aaron? Folks, give Aaron a hand as well as Stevie and Gooch and Sean. Jeff, who's here sometimes. Danilo, who's been here before. Dan as well. It takes everybody to get this thing done because there's just so much to talk about. Ryan, do we draft another linebacker this year? Possibly.
I say more than likely.
The question becomes, is there a free agent that you like enough to play with the young guys? They do need a leader, a veteran leadership aspect. He doesn't have to be the best player in the linebacker room, but they need a veteran player in there, and Ben Neiman is not it.
Yep.
So I think a free agent is in the works as well. Mike Hall, thank you very much. Did the pass rush play less aggressive to try to cover for Allen running, or were they just not getting to him? I wouldn't say that they were less aggressive. I think they rushed very specifically to maintain their containment of him and not give him free releases.
I think that's what they were doing. They also had 18 pressures. They had 18 in that game.
Pretty good.
That's pretty good.
38 dropbacks?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, 38 dropbacks. So almost half.
Yeah, that's a pretty good rate, guys.
It's a pretty good pressure rate. They got home on 2 of them, which it's hard to get sacks on Josh Allen already. Like, he's already very elusive and big. It's hard to bring him down. So 18 pressures, I think, is probably more than we would have thought going into that game.
Yeah, I mean, now if you actually recover the fumble instead of bouncing it right back into him, that changes that whole game. You know, that's just a luck of a bounce at that point. Stevie, thank you. What letter grades would you give each of our position coaches and coordinators? In your opinion, would they have been trending up or down? Whew, that is a great question. I would say, on the offensive side, I would say everybody's trending up except for probably Greg Lewis.
Okay, I could see that.
And so I would give everybody, what are you doing, letter grades?
Yeah, that's what I said, yeah.
I'd give everybody a B except for Greg Lewis, who's probably at a C. And that's, I can only say that because he hasn't corrected the ship. I think it's mostly on the players rather than him. What do you got on defense?
I think defensively we can right now, I think a C is probably where I'm at with most of the defensive staff. I think that talent level at the positions is clearly lacking, so they're doing the best they can with what they have. But we're seeing a high level of pressures. We're the top 5 in pressure rate in the NFL, but they're one of the bottom in converting. They're seemingly giving up a lot of plays deep to receivers and stuff like that. So I think defensively, everyone's probably middling right now, and C+, B- is where they've maxed out at this season. So I think that's where I'm at. Probably a C+ for the season.
I would give Daly a B.
Daly's done a good job with the defensive line. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's had to adapt probably more than he's had to in the past. So he would be the lone outlier for me, though. Great question, Stevie.
Very good. Thank you.
MT, thank you. Thanks for all the coverage in the roller coaster season. Yeah, roller coaster is a good way to put it. Man. Like the cliffs of Dover we're jumping off every other week. It's crazy. Daryl Miller, thank you. Longtime member, appreciate you. Don Noose, thank you. Any chance that we move away from Spags next year? Only if he gets hired away, and it doesn't sound like he's getting much interest at all. So I doubt it's happening.
Yeah.
And we're wrapping because Dan's got things going on. Gooch, thank you. There will be no Sorensen or Clark praise. He's putting the kibosh on that right now.
It's too bad because Clark had six pressures, so you can give him a little bit. Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, there's always ups and downs. Just a lot more downs. Good point, though, Gooch. You hang in there. Bobby Wagner in a trade. I can't do it. He's 37-8. 37, 38, 39. I don't even know how old he is.
He's old. He looks it too.
Yeah, I mean, still a good player. Not worth that investment at all.
Got to get younger at linebacker. You have to.
Yeah, and if you do it, you're talking about limiting Nick Bolton snaps.
Yep.
You need an overhang player that can play the Sam, that can play in coverage and be the other, like when you need true nickel coverage, when you need Willie and another guy, you need Devin Lloyd. Devin Lloyd's going to go in the top 20.
Yep.
Is my thought.
I love Devin Lloyd.
Crazy dudes. Yeah. Thoughts on trading for a mid-round first, a mid-first round edge or wide receiver and go win now and stay where we are. It just depends on who. I mean, if a Jabo's available at 15, 16, and you think you can get there, I'd take it. Because I think what you're seeing is this Melvin Ingram, who is what? 32?
32. Yep. He's 32 years old.
He's the most explosive edge rusher they have. At that age.
By a wide margin.
I know you want to play power edge. I know you want to do all that. Athleticism wins in this game, and I think they need a healthy dose of it at the edge position.
Quite a bit.
Ryan, who would you rather have, the Niners or Rams? I'd like to rematch the Niners. Aaron, thank you. Excellent show on your part as well. Thanks for keeping us straight. And folks, welcome to Rogue Nation. If you have not been here before, this is what we do. There's a lot of great fans. There's occasionally some fans from other teams that come in here and try to stir stuff up, but we do a pretty good job. Aaron Morrow runs the show in the chat. Gooch, Stevie, Sean, Jeff when he's here, Dan, everybody helps out around here. I am not a one-man show. If you've been here from the beginning, you're like, where'd all these guys come from? It used to just be you and a camera. Yeah, well, that's the way that it goes. So, hey, it works out. We thank you for all the support. It's just starting. There's a couple more games, and I think we have a couple games in us if it all goes right. So thanks for being here. Thanks for everyone for your support. We'll have more for you this week. I'm actually going to do a little bit, I think, of film work. I have a couple of little takeaways. If not film, I have a couple of thoughts that I'll put some shorter videos up. I know people have been asking for bite-sized vids. We'll try to do some extras, or at least I will. Thank you for your time. Seth will be back on Thursday. Dan will get you out to have dinner with the family. Thank you all. Have a great night. We'll catch you next time.